Welcome, Facebook live stream viewers and everyone else out there who is backstage with us now at Change It Up Radio. For any of you who are waiting for us that have had to wait through this delay, we are sorry. We had some technical problems, but we're here now. And I think you're going to find it's worth the wait, because with me today will be Dr. Shauna K. Young, who is a naturopath and an amazingly aware, informed, brilliant woman who will be talking to us about vibrant health that lasts. I'm calling this show Vibrant Health That Lasts. Seriously? Because so many of us wonder if that's real. Is it possible? Well, we're going to find out today, so stay with us. We're about to start our show.
Tired of the rut you're stuck in, but don't know what to do? Change it up! Join life transitions therapist, speaker, and best-selling author Paula Shaw. She'll be exploring topics that make change and the challenge it presents smoother and more productive. She'll also be spotlighting change makers who are leading the charge to make the world a better place. If you're ready to live a more exciting life, at home, in the workplace, and around the world, it's time to step out of your comfort zone and change it up. Now, here's your host, Paula Shaw.
Welcome to Change It Up Radio. I'm Paula Shaw, a speaker, an author, a life transitions coach, and, of course, the host of this show. Our show at Change It Up Radio is obviously about change. What we are all about is either spotlighting change makers who are trying to make the world a better place, or bringing you information to help make change smoother and more productive for you. Because, as we say every week, we humans have a love-hate relationship with change. We need it so that we can grow and so that life stays interesting. But we also hate the discomfort of the unfamiliar. So our job here at Change It Up Radio is to try to make you more comfortable with the unfamiliar and give you the information to give you the courage to rise to that challenge and get out there and accept change. Try something new so that your life can go to the next level. If you would like to learn more about this show, you can find that information on changeitupradio.com. That's changeitupradio.com. And on that website, you'll also find all the shows we've done archived. And we've had shows with some fascinating, amazing people. So go to that website and click on the Listen In tab, and you're going to be able to scroll down and see hundreds of shows that we have done that you may find of great interest to you. But our show today, I know, is going to be of great interest, because one of the most important things, I think, to all human beings is to feel healthy, to have good energy, to be happy and feeling complete and successful in your life, no matter what kind of a life you're living, whether you have a big career or you're a family person or whatever that may be. We all want to be happy and healthy, and we want to feel successful at whatever we choose to do. So, but we all know that every week, for some of us every day, in the mail or the email, we are getting information about how to look younger, how to feel better, how to be more fit, how to lose 25 pounds, how to have amazing health. And we always wonder, does any of that stuff really work? I'm calling this show today Vibrant Health That Lasts. Seriously? Can we do it? Is it possible? Are any of the things out there that we're being bombarded with really effective? Do they really work? Well, stay with me today, because my guest, Dr. Shauna K. Young, is an expert on all that stuff that's out there, on what works and what doesn't work. And she's going to be talking to us about the core elements that are really necessary to have a happy, healthy life. She is a naturopathic doctor that's coming to us by phone today out of Boise. And I can't wait for you to hear her. She's great fun. And believe me, this lady knows what she's talking about. But this idea of great health, this idea of living a long time, being healthy and vibrant and happy, is it attainable? You know, I'm sure a lot of us wonder. And I have to tell you, it's been an interesting day for me because earlier today, I was recording a podcast for ACEP, the Association of Comprehensive Energy Psychology. Many of you know I use the tools of energy psychology in my one-on-one work with people because we find that talk therapy just isn't enough. We need to intervene on the subconscious mind and the energy system to create lasting change, and actually quite rapidly. Well, this morning I was interviewing Dr. Norm Shealy. That may be a familiar name to many of you. He's been around a long time. He's got an online newsletter that many, many people get. But Dr. Shealy has really been studying for, I think he said, like 47 years. He's actually a neurosurgeon trained in it's right on the tip of my tongue, a famous university. Anyway, I can't think of it right now. But he is a neurosurgeon that realized long ago that drugs almost always have side effects, and that food is medicine, and that there is a better way to go. And he said to me today, for acute conditions, drugs can save your life, and medicines. He said, but for anything chronic, he would always choose an alternative method. And I know a lot of us feel that way, or we're trying as much as possible to use our food, to use the exercise and the supplements and all the things that are available to us that can help create health from the inside out. And Dr. Shauna today will be talking to us about many of the things that are critical if we really want to make that work. But coming from the perspective of a therapist and somebody who's been working with energy for many, many years now, I wanted to look at people who are not only healthy but happy. And I'd like to share with you some of the traits that I believe are necessary. And by the way, many of these were confirmed this morning in my interview with Dr. Shealy. They always seem to have an overall positive view of life. And when hard times come, they're resilient, they adapt, and they stay optimistic. I think, we have all been around Sad Sally and Buzzkill Billy and people who always have a certain view that people are no damn good or life is hard or, those sorts of things. And of course, in my practice, I see people who are coming from that place because of what they're going through in the moment. But some people just have that as their overall pervasive perspective of life. And most of the time I find they're not the ones who are the healthiest and the happiest. Another trait of people who seem to live long and who live a quality of life is that they come from love and service. I think if we are expecting to give more than we're expecting to receive, then not only are we not disappointed, but we have that fulfillment of bringing something beautiful to someone else, serving them, perhaps creating an opportunity for them or knowledge for them that really helps them live in a more profound, happy, what's the word I want? Just in a way that feels fulfilling, feels joyful, feels peaceful. So coming from love and service is important. Another trait I find is that most of the people that I know that are really happy and healthy and are experiencing longevity either pray or meditate or have some other kind of spiritual practice that they use on a daily basis. I know since I was 23 years old, I do not start my day without meditating. And if I've got a 4 o'clock or a 6:30 flight, I'm up at 4 to be sure that there's still time for that meditation before I start my day, because for me, that makes a profound difference. Another trait that I often see in people who are happy and healthy is that they believe there's something bigger than them that they can count on, that they can talk to, that they can lean on, a power bigger than we are. And whether you call that power God or Allah or Buddha or the name of your guru or whoever it might be, that safety, that security, that solid feeling that we get from knowing there's something beyond us that's benevolent and loving is extremely helpful, especially when we're going through hard times. Another trait is that they love themselves. They really realize their value. They have boundaries. They want to be treated well and expect to be treated well because they know they deserve it, because of their inherent value, not because of anything they do or the level of success they've achieved or the amount of money in their bank account, but because they're here. They're beings. They're human beings. They're children of God, if you will. And just for that reason alone, they deserve to be treated beautifully and they deserve lovely lives. And finally, one of the things I've seen in people who are happy and healthy and who seem to be experiencing a beautiful quality of life is they laugh a lot. And I love that part the best. I have to tell you, I had the privilege one time of seeing the Dalai Lama on stage at a women's conference here in Southern California. And he was the most adorable person ever. And he laughed all the time. And he would just do these adorable, cute things. You know, the lights are bright when you're on stage. And he took a little visor out of his pocket and put it on so he could see everybody and wave. So people who laugh a lot and have these other traits seem to experience a higher degree of health and joy. So I invite you to stay with us for the next segment where Dr. Shauna will be joining us. And let's see what other components she wants to suggest for us if we want to create this vibrant health that lasts for a lifetime. We'll be right back with Dr. Shauna.
But don't know what to do? We'll be right back with more Change It Up with Paula Shaw on AM 1170, The Answer.
Hi, I'm Kelly Klein of One Trust Hormones, Loan Coach Kelly. A while back, my business was in a slump, and it triggered a lot of self-doubt and fear, and it even had me questioning if I'd made the right career choice. So I booked a session with Paula Shaw, and after hearing my predicament, she explained that when we get into negative, self-sabotaging thinking, and we're being run over by our limiting beliefs, it's almost impossible to create positive outcomes. She helped me clear those destructive thoughts and beliefs using her cutting-edge energy psychology techniques. Not only did I feel a whole lot better after the session, but within 2 weeks, I had 7 loans in my pipeline. I was so glad that I went to see Paula Shaw, and you should too. It really changed my perspective on life, business, and now my business is going great. You can reach her at 626-864-0756. That's 626-864-0756. 626-864-0756. Or check her out at paulashaw.com. That's paulashaw.com.
Welcome back to Change It Up. Now here's your host, Paula Shaw.
Change It Up Radio. I'm Paula Shaw, and I'm delighted to have you here. And as promised, joining me by phone now is Dr. Shauna K. Young. Let me tell you just a little bit about her. She's a naturopathic doctor and a Ph.D. who is the owner and medical director of Assertive Wellness, which opened its doors in 2001, originally in Durango, Colorado, but now in Boise, Idaho, a place where I once lived and loved living. To date, her center has seen thousands of people from every state and from many countries all over the world who come to her, usually on referrals from other practitioners and other satisfied patients. Over the last 18 years, she's appeared on numerous radio and television shows. She is the author of 2 books, and I love this title, If Naturopaths Are Quacks, Then I Guess I'm a Duck. And her other book, Erasing Autism. So you're in for a treat. Dr. Shauna, please join us. Are you there?
I am here, Paula. Wow,
Good.
nice introduction. Thank you.
Well, there's a lot of nice things to say about you. You know, Dr. Shauna, I was saying in the first segment that most of us, and I don't know if you heard, but I happened to be interviewing this morning Dr. Norm Shealy, who I'm sure you're familiar with, who is one of maybe the grandfather of alternative medicine and food as medicine and other kinds of devices to bring us optimal health without drugs and chemicals. Mm-hmm. And he was saying, and I've heard you say this, there are so many gimmicks and devices and things out there, and every day you can find something either online or in your mail telling you about the latest and greatest. And I think people get overwhelmed. They don't know what works and what doesn't. How do you feel about that, and what can you suggest to people who are being overwhelmed with all of this new stuff?
I think if anybody owns a telephone of any kind, or if they're on like social media at all, mm-hmm. or anything like that, they're going to get overwhelmed with the products. Yes. Because health is huge right now, and the baby boomers, there's a lot of us, and they're starting to hit us now with all these products and with all these things, and take this and do this. One sure way to know if someone tells you that their product is a magic pill, you can be pretty sure that it's not. Right. So anything that says you don't have to change anything, I see this all the time, but especially with weight loss programs. Mm-hmm. They'll actually say within the ad, don't pay any attention to these people telling you that you have to change your diet. Don't pay any attention to, the book or anything. Just take this pill and do whatever you want to do, and you're going to lose a bunch of weight. And it always amazes me that people will, go for that. Mm-hmm. Because you'd think that in and of itself would be a lot, to chase you away. But it's just that people are really desperate to be healthy, mm-hmm. and there is so much conflicting information out there, and it is a process of trial and error quite often to find what works, the best for you. Right. My thing is you need to rule out the things in your body that, are poison, like chemicals or, additives and some of the oils and things like that, and to rule out the things that your body cannot effectively digest. But from there, we're looking at a pretty big market. But in terms of the supplements and the things like that, oh boy, it is really a buyer beware market out there because there's just so many. I came into my office this morning and sit down, and there's a box sitting here for me, and it's unsolicited, and there's all this product in it. It says Dear Health Practitioner.
And they have a personal relationship with you, of course.
Exactly. Dear, nice, sweet health practitioner, yes. But, it's just a box full of product. There's all these supplements and all this stuff, and they've included a 50-page manual, on something that, is the thing for health practitioners that tells you how to do it. So I constantly have a stack, a couple of inches thick on my desk of people that have brought me products that are going to change my life, and mm-hmm. They're going to be the end all be all, and all of that kind of thing. So it's very difficult, and I think that a lot of it is some of it is coming to people I'm a big believer in professional advice. Mm-hmm. I mean, you can ask my hairdresser. I don't even trim my own bangs. You know what I mean? Because I don't know how to do that.
It's an act of courage. Believe me, I only do it when I'm desperate.
Yeah. I know the doctor stuff, but I'm not picking. I'm a big believer in professional advice, and so if you have somebody that you can rely on, obviously my people all send me stuff and links, and I get many of them a week of people asking me to check out products and things. But something that says it's a magic pill, again, you can be pretty sure it isn't. Another thing you kind of have to watch for a little bit is the country of origin on some of these products, because there's a lot of them that are coming out of like China and stuff like that. And what happens, they say, oh, this product is $19.95 and it's got a money-back guarantee on it. But if you get that, they'll refund the $19.95, but it costs $199.95 to ship it back to,
I've been there and done that.
Yeah, haven't we
That's
all?
frustrating. And you know what I think is kind of interesting, too? People want the magic bullet. They want the magic pill, but they don't really want to change. So we're all kind of sitting ducks for that kind of advertisement, like you were discussing, right? Like, you won't have to change this. You can eat whatever you want, and that sort of thing. They don't want to change. Change is hard, and that's what my show is all about, right? People don't want to change. But let me ask you this. I would think two ways of maybe delineating whether something has value or not. One would be if it was referred to you by a friend who'd actually had results, or a practitioner or a doctor who'd had results. And maybe the other is scientific studies on it. What do you think?
Absolutely. There's a lot of ways. To me, the best way is a referral. Either having a friend of yours or your practitioner, refer you. Right. Now, one note that I want to make on scientific studies, though, is that you want to make sure who did the study, because you got to make sure there's not a dog in the hunt there, as my dad used to say, because like one of the studies that decided that oats were heart healthy was paid for and sponsored by a company that sells oat products,
Yes.
So you have to be really careful when you're looking at a study as to who funded the study, and was it an independent study? Because the independent studies, as we all know, those are the ones that we can pay attention to, because there's no agenda.
Yes. So there's a lot of talk these days that food is medicine, and that what we eat really matters. What's your feeling about that?
Well, that's not just these days. Hippocrates said it. That's been something that we have known all through history. It's just that people have gotten away from it because, a lot of it was when people started working more and they started being out more and things, then convenience food started to be king.
Yes.
And, I remember the instant, breakfast and instant this and instant that and all of that. Driving through and picking up your food out of a window, of a box. All of these things are a lot more convenient. But there's nobody really in the world that thinks that will make them healthy. They may want to be in denial about it and say, well, it doesn't matter, or this doesn't matter. But the thing is that all of us really know that we need certain things to survive. We need food that's not, heavily processed. We need water. We need air. We need exercise. There are certain things that we can do. There's a lot of people that they want to have like a one-size-fits-all diet, and there really isn't such a thing, because we're all so different. Absolutely. And I always point to my brother's wife and I, because it's really funny, because if you talk about like our dietary ways of eating, they sound really similar, but we don't eat the same thing at all. If we both have cut out grains and all that. We're in the paleo end of it. I'm ketogenic myself since about 2013. But if I ate as much fruit as she did, then I wouldn't, be happy. And if she ate as much fat as I do, she wouldn't be happy. We both cut out the things that our body cannot digest and cannot process.
And everybody is different, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. I think that's why I always worry a little bit when a new diet comes out, whether, it's keto or Fido or Fido or Dodo, there's always a new name.
Yeah, whatever it is, yeah.
But then what happens is somebody gets results on it, and then everybody wants to jump on that bandwagon. But for them, that might be a terrible diet, right? I mean, it could even take them in the wrong direction or to illness.
For one thing that you have to look at when somebody says, either in an advertisement or if it's your friend, and they say, well, I started this diet, and I lost weight or my blood pressure went, or whatever they're looking for, whatever results they're looking for, ask them what they were eating before.
Oh.
Because what's happening with a lot of these quote-unquote studies and different things that are happening in people with testimonials is that this is a person who ate all processed food. And as soon as they started eating food that was less processed, then they obviously had a wonderful effect just from that.
Right. Good point. And of course, we all know that it helps if we move our bodies every day. And we're going to have to take a little break here, Dr. Shauna. But when we come back, let's talk about what are those other key components that we need that are going to amplify our ability to live a happy, healthy, longer life, because who wants to be around for a long life if you're not healthy and thereby certainly not happy?
Right.
So we'll be back from this break in just a moment, and let's get into that.
We'll be right back with more Change It Up with Paula Shaw on AM 1170, The Answer.
If you could rebuild your health on a solid foundation, would you do it? Do you have health issues that doctors just can't get to the bottom of, and all they do is prescribe pills to lessen your symptoms? Would you like a better way? Certified FDN practitioner Desiree Lawn founded Autoimmune Health Freedom because she struggled with health issues from childhood that could not be explained. Today, she lives a vibrant life, free of aches and pains and full of energy to enjoy activities with her family. The life you would like to live. How did she do it? Autoimmune Health Freedom has the tools you need. For a free discovery session, call 858-248-1657 or go to autoimmunehealthfreedom.com. That's autoimmunehealthfreedom.com. Yes, you can feel better again. You can rebuild your health. You can have the life you want. Call 858-248-1657.
Desiree Lawn is not licensed by the state of California as a healing arts practitioner.
Is living in today's fast-paced world making you feel stressed and out of balance? Are anxiety, sleeplessness, depression, lack of focus, or weight gain robbing you of your relationship and your energy? If you're ready for change, you need to call Paula Shaw. Paula helps you identify and eliminate self-sabotaging thinking and behavior. Using a wide variety of mind-body techniques, she provides her clients with the most effective processes for their specific needs. To book a session with Paula, call 858-480-9234. That's 858-480-9234.
Welcome back to Change It Up. Now here's your host, Paula Shaw.
Welcome back to Change It Up Radio, here with Paula Shaw. And I am delighted that with me today by phone is Dr. Shauna K. Young, whose practice is in Boise, but she works with people all over the world. And we're talking about vibrant health. Is it really possible to have long-term vibrant health? In our last segment, we talked about the importance of what you eat as far as keeping your body in optimal health. And we're going to talk a little bit more about that and get into fitness, because there's a lot of talk these days about fitness, and lots of people are going to the gym and lots of people aren't. And in America, there are a lot of people who are overweight. And I want to ask Dr. Shauna, is that really a problem? Or how big a problem is it? So, Dr. Shauna.
Well, being overweight is epidemic. I was going to say in our country, but it's really in a lot of people's countries. It's just something that we have gotten into because of our reliance on fast food and those kinds of things.
Yes.
And exercise is extremely important, but you can't exercise off a bad diet.
Oh, say a little bit more about that. I'm not sure I understand what you mean.
Well, I have a guy very, he's young and he's in his late 20s, and he ate like a, I told him he ate like a stone teenager all the time. And I told him, I said, you cannot continue to eat that way and expect any level of health.
Yeah.
And he said, well, I ride my bicycle 16 hours a day or 16 miles a day, so I do really well. And I said, yeah, but you're not going to be able to keep that at bay. Well, long story short, he broke his ankle.
Ooh.
And in 3 months, he gained about 40 pounds.
Wow.
And you can, if you're young, you can exercise incessantly and keep weight at bay. But as you get a little bit older and stuff, that is not going to happen. Mm-hmm. And just like there's no one-size-fits-all diet, there's no one-size-fits-all exercise either.
Yeah.
You have to find something that works for you, that is your balance, that is your, I am not in favor of things that are going to hurt your joints. A lot of people really got into running because running's easy. All you have to do is put on a pair of shorts and some tennis shoes and run out, and you can do it.
Yeah.
You don't have to go to the gym and all that kind of stuff. But it's very hard on your joints. And if you're a woman, it's hard on more than your joints, to be out there.
Ah.
But what they're finding a lot with people, one of the most effective forms of exercise is the high interval training, where high intensity interval training. And, they're kind of moving away now from the idea of that you have to spend 3 hours, spinning and those kinds of things.
Yes.
What I notice is it seems like to me, working with as many people as I do, is that the closer we get to being cavemen, the better we are, in terms of eating really unprocessed food.
Mm-hmm.
And let's think about high-intensity interval training for a second. So that's like walking and then doing really, really hard activity for a short period of time and then going back to walking again. Doesn't that sound like hunting, kind of?
Yes, it does.
Like they're walking around, ooh, there's a mammoth, let's go get it, right?
Yeah.
And they go and they get the mammoth, and then they go back to walking again.
Yes.
It just seems like everything that we're doing, getting rest, eating the foods that are there, in our season, eating foods that are not really processed. It just seems like the more we get back to that. Mm-hmm. But again, when people talk about exercise and moving around and stuff like that, this is kind of gross, and I apologize. But if you're going to let's say you're going to take your dog out, okay, for a walk, and, you want the dog. So what do? The dog walks. The dog goes to the bathroom. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah. Well, that's because the dog is walking. If you have to move, you have to move around.
Yes.
You can't sit still and expect any function, even the most basic ones of your body, to continue to function.
Mm-hmm.
Now, this is not saying that you have to be in the gym 3 hours a day, because I don't believe in that either.
Mm-hmm.
But
because you
have to move.
You can overdo it, right?
Very easily.
Ah.
And especially, I hate the phrase, getting, as you get older and things like that, but there are certain things that you want to do and certain things you do want to change up. Mm-hmm. You don't want to be beating your joints up. You don't need to be tearing your body apart, in the name of trying to stay looking the same. You can't. As we get older, we want to feel great,
mm-hmm.
and that's entirely possible.
Yes.
But we kind of have to let go of the idea that we need to look the same as we did when we were 20, because it's not really feasible.
Right.
And I find that a lot of people actually injure themselves in the gym because it's not fitting their mental mold of what they think they should look like.
Yes, that's exactly right. And they tend to become almost fearful in their work. Like I've noticed, a lot of people I know, they're afraid if they don't get to the gym that day, somehow their body is going to fall apart. It becomes like mm-hmm. a compulsive obsessive disorder.
Yeah. And in anything that's good, there's also too much of a good thing.
Yeah.
I know another naturopath he's back on the East Coast and that I know, and he had a woman who was drinking like gallons of water a day mm-hmm. and lost like 100 pounds. But she was convinced that if she didn't drink these gallons and gallons of water a day, then she would gain her weight back, and he couldn't get her to stop drinking too much water. And as a result, she was washing out all of her minerals and all of her vitamins and wound up in a very severe health condition of malnutrition.
Wow. I didn't even realize you could drink too much water.
I know, right? Because hardly anybody drinks even enough
That's right.
water.
That's right.
That's one of the hardest things I do. I can get people to, eat kitty litter if it's going to make them feel better, but try to get them to drink a glass of water. That's like one of the hardest things that we do. And
I had just, by the way, taken a sip of water when you said
I hope you did.
My ears were like, did I hear kitty litter? Oh, dear. Yes.
Well, in my first book, a comment that a lot of people make on that book is you've heard people tell you to drink water, but nobody's ever told you how to drink water, and that's just as important.
Well, tell us how.
Yeah, because a lot of people, they think, ooh, I didn't drink my water today, so they drink like a whole, water bottle or something of water,
right?
And that, of course, does not work. Your stomach, your kidney, your bladder, your organs, they've got a finite amount of liquid that they can hold at any given time. And you need to put that liquid in, let it soak in, and then replace it again. So I always tell people to be a drip line instead of a sprinkler. With a sprinkler, you go really hard pour a ton of water on your grass for about 15 minutes and then let it soak in. In a drip line, it just does a very small amount of water.
Right.
Over time, what I do, I never really drink more than 2 or 3 swallows of water at a time.
Really? Interesting.
No.
Wow.
It's just that I do it all day. Another metaphor that's interesting is watering a plant. You don't pour like a whole jug full of water when you're watering a house plant.
Right.
You give it a little bit, you let it soak in. You give it a little bit, you let it soak in.
Really, really interesting. Like I'd not thought about that, but that's how I water my plants. And, I tend to drink like that. Let me ask you a question because I've heard this before too. If you're drinking a good herbal tea, does that not count as liquid to hydrate you?
It does as long as there's not caffeine in it.
Okay, so caffeine I know dehydrates, correct? But if
you're
drinking herbal
peppermint tea or chamomile tea or something like that, then you're fine.
Cool. So you are getting hydration from that.
Right.
All right. Good to know.
Now, not as much from juice. A lot of people think if they drink juice all day, but juices are very, very high in sugar. I work with a lot of children, and it's difficult for me sometimes with people to get out of the idea that drinking juice all day is good for a kid, because it's not.
Yeah, no. That makes total sense to me. And what about dairy? A lot of people say no dairy when you're an adult, dairy when you're a kid only. What do you think about dairy?
Once again, there is no one size fits all.
Yeah.
There are some people that tolerate it better than others, and some people that tolerate other products better than others. Right. Speaking for myself, I can't tolerate processed milk at all, but I do just fine with raw milk. I'm really fortunate in that our health food store has a lot of raw milk products. So if I do eat dairy, like cheese or something or butter, I try to get the raw milk products because they're much easier to digest.
Yes,
but
I do that too.
In general, I tell people to do dairy very, very sparingly.
Okay.
Like for me, I love cheese, but if I have cheese on Monday, I don't on Tuesday. And I only have a few ounces of it at a time. You don't want to coat something.
Yes.
With it. So it's just one of those things, there's a common misconception where they say moderation in all things, and I don't agree. Because some things you shouldn't eat at all. There a lot of people, they this isn't good for you or that isn't good for you, but, a little bit isn't going to hurt you, and that's just not true. There are certain things. That would be kind of like somebody saying, well, I'm just drinking a little bit of that poison. It's I'm sorry. Poison is poison.
Just a little
and
bit of arsenic.
No such thing. Yeah, as a little bit of poison being okay.
Yeah, that makes total sense.
Yeah,
and
that's I definitely object to that when I hear people say that.
Yes. Well, when we come back from this break, let's sum up some of the major components for having that overall health, and then let's talk a little bit about the LifeWave phototherapy patches that I know you love, as do I, and I've been using for almost 3 years now, because they are one thing that we know does work without drugs or chemicals, without depleting the body. And I know you're in love with them too. So when we come back from this break, let's sum up the components of good health, and then let's talk about those patches. How about that?
You got it.
All right. We'll be right back.
We'll be right back with more Change It Up with Paula Shaw on AM 1170, The Answer.
Jack Gutman survived World War II and then returned home to the hardest fight of his life with PTSD and alcoholism. Now at age 93, he's a businessman and comedian, sharing his message of recovery and hope in his new book, One Veteran's Journey to Heal the Wounds of War, helping our heroes and anyone who has experienced PTSD find happiness again. Get Jack Gutman's new book, One Veteran's Journey to Heal the Wounds of War, at Amazon.com. Or to order a signed copy, call 714-525-4954.
For those looking to improve their lives, there's nobody better to turn to than Paula Shaw. Paula helps people regain successful lives by identifying and eliminating self-sabotaging behavior using a multitude of mind-body techniques to identify and resolve their core issues. Working with a wide variety of healing modalities, she provides her clients with the most effective process for their specific needs. To book a session with Paula, call 858-480-9234. That's 858-480-9234.
Welcome back to Change It Up. Now here's your host, Paula Shaw.
Welcome back to Change It Up Radio, here with Paula Shaw. And my guest today is just a fountain of knowledge about creating good health. She's Dr. Shauna K. Young out of Boise, and she's joining us today by phone and has shared so many great things with us. Dr. Shauna, let's just kind of sum up what you think are the core elements that need to be included in a life to create health and happiness.
Well, I will tell you that the number one thing is that mental attitude that you just spoke of.
Yes.
Because you will either complete your life and make your life happy and healthy, or you will defeat yourself with your own mindset. And
said.
I call this the yes but people, where you say, this is good, and they go, yeah, but this is, you say, that you can't shovel food in like that and expect to have your stomach work. Yeah, but I only get 15 minutes, So your mental attitude is everything, and try to listen to yourself. And if you're yeah-butting, then you may want to take a look at that. One of the other things is that you have to turn your dietary changes or your exercise changes into a lifestyle and not a diet or a program, because until you make it livable and until you turn it into a lifestyle, you will never create a lasting change. And you see this with people all the time. They say, oh, I'm on the XYZ dietary program and I lost all this weight and I feel great. But this person is still living from what I call cheat to cheat. I talk to people all the time. Yeah. And I talk to people all the time, and I'll say, well, Paula, how are you doing on your diet? Are you doing, I'm good. I'm eating all the right things. But you know what? Valentine's Day is coming up, and I'm having that big chocolate cake that they have over at whatever, And you're like, okay. And you go, well, then are you going back to normal after that? Well, until April, because that's when my birthday is, and I'm going to, and these people are still planning their lives around a cheat. And
a cheat and a treat.
Well, a treat is different because I treat myself all the time. I treat myself to pedicures. I treat myself to a massage. I treat myself every time I go to the grocery store, which is part of what has made my lifestyle in this world sustainable. Every single time I go to the grocery store, I get one thing I've never had before.
Oh, that's
a good idea. It might be a food, it might be a hot sauce, it may be a toothpaste or a shower soap or a toothbrush, but I get something I've never had before every time I go to the grocery store.
So it's a new kind of cheat instead of a sweet treat or something processed that definitely isn't going to be good for you.
The difference between a treat and a cheat is that a cheat's bad for you and a treat isn't.
I love that. I love that. Well, we promised to talk a little bit about something that I consider a treat for sure, because it has been really good for me in my life, and that is the phototherapy patches created by LifeWave. that have no drugs or chemicals or sugar in them, because we know that's something we don't want to do a lot of either, that is going to hurt us. Can you tell us a little bit, because we talked earlier about how do we know if some new thing, whether it's a gimmick or a process or a machine or whatever, how do we know if it's any good? And I know that you also love the LifeWave phototherapy patches. So tell us why, Dr. Shauna.
Oh, they're amazing. And you know what very first attracted me to LifeWave and to these products was the very thing that I was talking about before. You know, there's always a new pill, a new tea, a new potion, a new something coming out. And every single one of those puts something into your body.
Right.
And every single one of those that come out are at least minimally processed. Okay, there's got to be, just to get it to slide down a chute and get into that capsule, you have to put things in it. And you have to dose it. And we all dose differently.
Right.
In terms of, you know, a 100-pound person needs a lot less than a 200-pound person. You know, I mean, there's all this. And what the LifeWave patches do with the phototherapy is your body does all the work. Your body itself does 100% of the heavy lifting. So you don't have to worry about whether you're getting underdosed or overdosed.
Yes, that's a great
because
point.
Yeah, because your body is going to be the modulator, and your body won't harm itself.
Yes, right.
So you put this on there, and it takes from it what it needs and what it wants.
For those who don't know, they're just little, they look like Band-Aids. I'm showing them to the Facebook live stream viewers right now. They look like little round Band-Aids, and in the center are organic crystals that are programmed to have a certain impact on the body. Correct?
Correct.
And the process is called photobiomodulation. Can you explain to everybody what that is?
You know what? There's such an easy way to explain that.
Okay.
It's the same exact process when the sun hits your skin and you create vitamin D. Okay, there's no vitamin D in the sun. There's no vitamin D in your skin. But when the sun hits your skin at the correct, you know, frequency, then it creates vitamin D. Now, you can take the exact same sun and your exact same skin, but a different frequency at which it's hitting your body, and it creates melanin, which is what gives you a suntan.
I love that analogy. That's great. And so when you put the patch on your body, and your body is naturally always emitting infrared light, it reflects that light back, correct? So we're now working with light rather than drugs or chemicals.
You're getting to wear your own little sun.
You're getting to wear your own little sun. I love that.
You know,
and it's
amazing to me. They create such a different response depending on the frequency that's been programmed into the patch, but it's the same process. They're absolutely incredible. And as I said, the most important thing for me is that they can't they're not going to harm anything.
Yes. You know, as a therapist too, I love the Eon patch, which is, you know, anti-stress, anti-inflammatory. And when I have a client come in and they're falling apart or they're just sobbing and upset, it's so great to know that with total comfort and surety, I can put an Eon patch on them if they're open to it. And it's not going to interfere with any drugs or supplements or anything they may already be taking. That's huge, because otherwise, you know, there's lawsuits pending out there. But and almost always within minutes, they're like just breathing more calmly, and they're able to now have the conversations, do the processes that will actually help them feel better.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's fabulous. And of course, the X39 patch is sort of the mother lode that just came out in the last year. Because, I've been involved for 3 years with this company. And of course, there's a sleep patch that's wonderful. I'm wearing my energy patches as we speak that create higher energy without a caffeine, like a high kind of thing. There's Ice Wave that helps with pain. That's amazing. There are SP6, improves all these organs in your body. There are also many fabulous. Oh, and by the way, my sleep at night, I use Eon and Alavita. Alavita for rejuvenation. So I
that's
wake
what I
up with
use,
my
too.
skin looking better and I've slept well.
Yeah.
How can
Oh,
you
I know.
beat that, right?
I know. I love the Alavitas. I love
But
those.
the X39 activates stem cells,
Mm-hmm.
is reversing aging. And now we just found out that it's improving the function of every part of your brain.
Oh, my gosh. Yeah, those new studies are just mind-blowing.
Yes. So tell me, do you actually use these patches with your patients?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, for one thing, you referred to X39's mothership. The X39 is the perfect product for any practitioner because it accelerates everything else that you're doing.
Yes.
A lot of times the reason that the thing about natural medicine that is great is that when you do something and you commit to it and you do this process, then it's lasting.
Yes.
But the downside is that it's not fast.
It's not fast.
Because,
good point.
Right, because you have to commit to it. There are things you have to do. And as people get older and they have less GHK copper peptide in them, they have less stem cell activation, then things take longer.
Right.
So the X39 goes in and does all of that cleanup. It gets all of your body activated and working and accelerates the process of pretty much everything else that you're trying to do.
Mm-hmm. Which is incredible. I know my parents are in their 90s and they wear it all the time. And I've seen so much improvement, not in just how they look, because we know it helps erase fine lines and gives your skin a glow, and people are growing hair, all sorts of things are happening. But what I really noticed in my parents is they have energy and they're sharp. Everybody's so fearful now about cognitive decline as we grow older. And it seems like you're hearing about Alzheimer's every other day. But my parents are sharp. And I'm telling you, I'm thrilled that they're using those patches.
Cognitive decline is my worst nightmare. I tell people all the time, I'm not afraid of death. I'm afraid of wheelchairs and walkers and not knowing who people are and adult diapers and, all of those things that they tell you, well, that, it's just your age. You can expect that. A lot of doctors, I'm sure, feel this way, but as a naturopathic doctor and speaking for myself, the only thing that I want to kill my people is the clock.
Oh, I love that. I love that. And you know what? Speaking of the clock, Dr. Shauna, it's killing us right now. I'm so sorry. You're going to have to come back because we've just begun to have this chat. But thank you so much for joining us, for turning us on to some of the things that really matter in creating long-lasting health. And please come back and join me again.
Anytime, Paula.
All right. Thank you so much. And thank you to our viewers and listeners. You can hear us in San Diego at 9 o'clock on Sunday evenings on AM 1170, The Answer, and 96.1 FM. We're on every major podcast platform. And if you forget where to find us, just ask Siri or Alexa. And please subscribe to the show, review it, and share it with others. See you next week. Bye-bye.
Thanks for listening to Change It Up with life transitions expert, speaker, and best-selling author, Paula Shaw. Join the Change It Up movement with Paula Shaw as we explore topics that inspire, welcome change, and create a new kind of conversation. To learn more about Paula, how to be a guest on the show, and sponsorship opportunities, visit changeitupradio.com. Whether you're feeling happy, sad, mad, or glad, it never hurts to change it up.
Thank you, Facebook live stream viewers, for joining us. Wasn't Dr. Shauna amazing? I don't know. Do I still have her on the phone, Todd? Oh, good.
You do.
Dr. Shauna, good. So if you'd like to say any closing words to our Facebook live stream viewers, I would love you to do that.
Well, I have a couple of closing things. In general, eat the food that makes you feel healthy and strong. Do the exercise that makes you feel good but not depleted. Do your own, drink water so that you know that you're hydrated, that your skin feels good, that you're doing all of that. And remember that health is not a gift. It's a reward. People say all the time, oh, knock wood, I'm really, really healthy and it's such a gift. It's not a gift. It's something that you earn. And if you want to be healthy and live a long and healthy life, then you have to earn it.
Oh, that was beautiful. And what a perfect ending. Thank you, Dr. Shauna, for all that you taught us today and for being in my life. You are amazing.
Thank you, Paula.
All right. And thank you all for being with us today. See you next week. Bye-bye.